First Contact and Invasion. The skies over New Horizon Colony blazed with unnatural light as Captain Alina Chen watched the command center's main view screen with growing horror. What had begun as an anomalous reading at the edge of their sensor range had, within hours, materialized into an armada of ships unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. "Status report," Alina demanded, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her throat. Lieutenant Rice, her second in command, looked up from his console, face ashen. 37 vessels, Captain. No response to any hails across all frequencies. They're moving into orbital positions around the colony. New Horizon, humanity's first interstellar settlement, home to 80,000 colonists, suddenly felt desperately vulnerable. Established just 15 years earlier in the Ta-CD system, the colony represented humanity's bold first step beyond the solar system. "Try the first contact protocols again," Alina ordered, though she suspected it was futile. Something in the methodical way these ships moved suggested they weren't here for peaceful dialogue. The main doors slid open as Dr. Abasi Okafor, the colony's xenobiologist, rushed in. "Captain, I've analyzed what little data we have. These vessels don't match any theoretical alien design we've ever considered. The energy readings are peculiar." "Peculiar how?" Alina asked, eyes still fixed on the approaching vessels. "They're putting out radiation in patterns that suggest intentional signaling between ships, but the patterns disrupt our own communications arrays. It's as if..." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "It's as if they know exactly how our technology works and how to counter it." The implications hung heavy in the air. Humanity had never officially encountered another intelligent species, yet here was one that seemed to understand their technology intimately. "Captain," Rice shouted. Energy buildup detected in the lead vessels. The warning came too late. The view screen flared blindingly white before the feed cut entirely. The command center shook violently, throwing Alina against a console. Emergency sirens wailed as backup power kicked in, bathing everything in red emergency lighting. "Report," Alina shouted over the chaos. "Direct hits on the main habitat domes," someone called out. "Communications hub destroyed. Defense grid offline." Alina steadied herself against a console. The air tasted of burnt circuitry. "Casualties." The answer came in a broken voice. "Thousands, Captain. Maybe tens of thousands. They targeted the residential sectors first." Cold rage settled in Alina's chest. This wasn't a misunderstanding or a failed attempt at communication. This was a calculated attack designed to inflict maximum casualties. "What about our ships?" she asked. The orbital dock was hit. Most vessels are destroyed, but the Artemis is intact in the maintenance bay. It's shielded underground. The Artemis was a scout ship, fast but lightly armed. Not a warship by any stretch, but it had something invaluable. An experimental quantum drive capable of faster-than-light travel without using the established jump gates. Alina made her decision in seconds. "Initiate evacuation protocol, Omega. Get all survivors to the emergency shelters. Lieutenant Rice, Dr. Okafor, you're with me." "Where are we going?" Rice asked. "To the Artemis, then to Earth." Alina's expression hardened. They need to know what's coming. The journey to the maintenance bay was a nightmare of collapsed corridors and fires. Twice they had to detour around sections exposed to vacuum where the colony's hull had been breached. The colonists they encountered were directed to the emergency shelters, though Alina knew with grim certainty that those shelters wouldn't withstand a determined attack if the aliens decided to finish what they'd started. Dr. Okafor worked feverishly on his tablet as they moved. "I'm downloading all sensor data from the attack. If we're going to have any chance against them, Earth needs to understand what we're facing." The maintenance bay was miraculously intact, the Artemis sitting ready in its berth. As they approached, a figure emerged from behind a stack of supply crates. Chief Engineer Maya Wong, her uniform stained with blood and soot. "Captain," Maya called, relief evident in her voice. I was preparing the ship. Thought someone should make it out to warn Earth. Great minds think alike, Alina said grimly. Status of the Artemis. Fueled and ready. I've loaded emergency supplies and the prototype quantum navigation module. She'll get us home faster than anything these bastards have ever seen. They boarded quickly, each taking their positions with practiced efficiency. Alina took the pilot's seat while Maya handled engineering. Dr. Okafor immediately connected his tablet to the ship's systems, transferring the precious sensor data. Launch sequence initiated, Alina announced. Emergency override Alpha 9-3. The maintenance bay doors above them began to slide open, revealing a slice of star-filled sky. As they did, the ship's sensors picked up movement. Captain, alien vessels converging on our position, Rise warned. They must have detected the bay doors opening, Alina said, hands flying over the controls. Initiating emergency burn in 3, 2, 1. The Artemis leaped upward on pillars of blue flame, accelerating far faster than safety protocols allowed. G-forces pressed them into their seats as Alina pushed the engines beyond their limits. The alien ships, sleek and predatory with biomechanical curves that defied human engineering principles, adjusted course to intercept. They're locking weapons, Rais shouted. Alina didn't respond. Every ounce of her concentration focused on the rapidly narrowing escape vector. The Artemis bucked as energy weapons grazed its hull, systems flickering momentarily before stabilizing. Quantum drive status, Alina demanded. 93% charge, Maya responded, her voice tight with strain. We need at least 95 to jump safely. Another hit rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed across Alina's console. Hull breach in cargo section, sealed automatically, Maya reported. 94%. 95. We can jump. Setting course for Earth, Alina announced, inputting the coordinates. Everyone hold on. This is going to get rough. The quantum drive engaged with a bone-deep vibration that seemed to momentarily separate them from reality itself. The view screen showed reality stretching and then snapping as the Artemis tore through space-time, leaving the alien armada behind. The journey to Earth took 9 days instead of the expected months. 9 days of analyzing data, treating injuries, and preparing their report for Earth's Unified Defense Command. 9 days of mourning the thousands lost at New Horizon and wrestling with the knowledge that they might be the only survivors. When they finally emerged from quantum space near Luna, they were immediately surrounded by Earth's defense fleet, weapons locked on their unfamiliar drive signature. This is Captain Alina Chen of the New Horizon colony vessel Artemis. Alina transmitted. Authentication code Sierra. Echo Victor Echo November. We bring critical information regarding an alien attack on the colony. Request immediate audience with Defense Command. The response was immediate. Authentication confirmed, Artemis. You are cleared for direct approach to Armstrong Base. Medical teams and senior command are standing by. Alina guided the battered scout ship to the indicated docking bay on humanity's lunar military headquarters. As the airlock cycled and they prepared to disembark, she turned to her exhausted crew. What we tell them in the next few hours will determine humanity's response to the first contact with alien life, she said soberly. Make no mistake, this is no longer about New Horizon. This is about the survival of our entire species. Admiral Takahashi listened without interruption as Alina and her crew delivered their report, supported by the sensor data they'd managed to salvage. The briefing room was packed with Earth's highest-ranking military and civilian leaders, their expressions growing darker with each passing minute. And you're certain they made no attempt to communicate before attacking? The Admiral asked when Alina finished. None, sir. The attack was premeditated and executed with precision. They knew exactly where to hit us to cause maximum casualties and disable our defenses. Dr. Okafor stepped forward. The most troubling aspect is how familiar they seem to be with our technology. Their weapons specifically targeted our communication arrays and power distribution systems with surgical precision. As if they'd studied us, murmured the Secretary General of the United Nations. Exactly, Alina confirmed, which suggests they've been watching us for some time. Admiral Takahashi stood, his weathered face grave. Captain Chen, your actions saved countless lives by bringing us this warning. You and your crew have performed admirably under circumstances I can scarcely imagine. He turned to address the room. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now facing the greatest threat in human history. Based on Captain Chen's report and Dr. Okafor's analysis, we must assume these aliens. The Nazari, Dr. Okafor interjected. Based on fragments of their communication we intercepted, we believe they call themselves the Nazari. The Nazari, the Admiral continued, are hostile, technologically advanced, and now aware of our homeworld's location. We must prepare for the possibility of an attack on Earth itself. What about the colonists left behind? Alina asked, voicing the question that had haunted her throughout their journey. A painful silence filled the room before the Admiral answered. Long-range sensors detected a massive energy discharge in the Ta City system 3 days ago. The colony, we believe it has been completely destroyed. Alina closed her eyes, grief and guilt washing over her. 80,000 lives. Gone. Then we need to make sure they didn't die in vain, she said finally, her voice hardened by resolve. The Nazari struck without provocation or warning. If they come here, when they come here, we need to be ready. And we will be, Admiral Takahashi assured her. Effective immediately. I'm implementing Defense Protocol Omega. All civilian space traffic is suspended. The entire fleet is being mobilized. And most importantly, he paused, looking directly at Alina, we're activating Project Prometheus. A ripple of surprise went through the room. Project Prometheus was a theoretical weapons program, deemed too dangerous to implement during peacetime. Sir, Alina said carefully, I'm not familiar with Project Prometheus. Few are, Captain. It's been our best-kept secret for a decade. The Admiral's expression was grim. The Nazari may have superior technology, but humanity has something they clearly don't: adaptability and creativity in the face of extinction. Project Prometheus leverages uniquely human cognitive patterns to create weapons that, theoretically, no alien mind could anticipate or counter. For the first time since the attack, Alina felt a flicker of hope. And you believe it will work against the Nazari? I believe, the Admiral said, that it's our best chance. And Captain Chen, given your first-hand experience with the enemy, I'm attaching you and your crew to the project effective immediately. Alina straightened, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders anew. We won't let you down, sir. I know you won't, Captain, because you understand what's at stake. The Admiral addressed the entire room again. The Nazari struck first, thinking we would be easy prey. But they'll soon learn what countless adversaries throughout human history have discovered. When you strike humanity, we don't just fight back. We make absolutely certain you never strike again. The counter-strike. 6 months after the destruction of New Horizon, Earth was transformed. Cities had been partially evacuated. Orbital defense platforms bristled with newly developed weapons, and the combined industrial might of humanity had been redirected toward a single purpose: survival. Captain Alina Chen stood before the viewport in Armstrong Base's Strategic Command Center, watching as the specialized fleet prepared for departure. These weren't traditional warships. Project Prometheus had produced vessels unlike anything humanity had built before. Impressive, aren't they? Admiral Takahashi joined her at the viewport. 90 days ago, these ships didn't exist even as blueprints. Alina nodded. Fear is a powerful motivator. So is revenge, the Admiral noted. But it's hope that built those ships. The centerpiece of the fleet was the Nemesis, a vessel that appeared almost primitive compared to standard military designs. Its hull was irregular, seemingly patchwork, with protrusions and recesses that defied conventional aerodynamics, because it wasn't designed according to human aesthetic or engineering principles. The latest intelligence confirms our suspicions the Admiral said, handing Elena a data tablet. "The Nazari Armada is on its way. Our deep space arrays detected them crossing the Oort cloud boundary yesterday." Elena studied the projected course. "They're not even trying to hide their approach. They're confident. Overconfident," the Admiral corrected. "And that's exactly what we need them to be." The door to the command center slid open as Dr. Okafor entered, followed by Maya Wong and Lieutenant Reyes. The past 6 months had changed them all. New scars, both physical and psychological, but also a hardened resolve. "The final modifications to the neural interfaces are complete," Dr. Okafor announced. "The system is ready for deployment." Admiral Takahashi nodded. "Then it's time. Operation Prometheus is officially underway. Captain Chen, you have operational command of the strike force. Your primary mission is to deploy the Prometheus device within the Nazari fleet. Your secondary objective is intelligence gathering. The more we learn about them, the better our chances if this operation fails." Elena straightened. "It won't fail, sir. I believe you, Captain." The Admiral's expression softened slightly, "but I also recognize the extreme risk of this mission. The Nemesis and her support ships are cleared for launch whenever you're ready." Elena turned to her team. The only other survivors of New Horizon, now her core officers for the most important mission in human history. "We launch in 2 hours. Let's go make sure those 80,000 souls didn't die for nothing." The Nemesis hung in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter, its strange silhouette barely visible against the backdrop of space. Elena sat in the captain's chair, surrounded by a command center unlike any conventional bridge. Instead of rows of consoles and view screens, the circular room was dominated by a spherical holographic projection of surrounding space, with crew stations arranged around it like spokes on a wheel. "Nazari fleet approaching detection perimeter," Rise reported from the tactical station. 28 vessels in formation. Configuration matches what we encountered at New Horizon, plus 3 larger ships that appear to be their command vessels. Elena nodded. "Status of the cloaking system." "Operating within parameters," Maya responded from engineering. "The quantum refraction field is stable. As far as their sensors are concerned, we don't exist." The cloaking technology was one of Project Prometheus's many innovations, not a true invisibility device, but something far more cunning. It presented sensor readings that alien minds would instinctively dismiss as irrelevant background noise, exploiting the cognitive differences between human and Nazari perception. Dr. Okafor, status of the Prometheus device. The scientist looked up from his station, where complex neurological data streamed across multiple screens. "Ready for deployment, Captain. The human interface systems are operational, and the quantum entanglement network is stable." Elena took a deep breath. "Then we proceed as planned. Move us into position within their formation. Target the central command vessel." The Nemesis glided silently forward, its engines running on a revolutionary propulsion system that left no detectable exhaust or energy signature. As they approached the Nazari fleet, Elena felt a chill run down her spine. Up close, the alien vessels were even more unsettling. Organic curves blended with crystalline structures, pulsing with internal energies that defied human understanding. "They're beautiful in a terrifying way," Dr. Okafor murmured, voicing what many of them felt. "So are cobras and black widow spiders," Elena replied. "Remember what they did to New Horizon." The Nemesis slipped between 2 Nazari warships, so close they could see individual details of the alien hull architecture. Strange protrusions that might have been weapons or sensors dotted the exterior, along with pulsing orbs of energy that seemed to serve as external power nodes. "We're in optimal position," Rise announced. "The command vessel is within deployment range." Elena stood. "All stations, prepare for Prometheus activation. Maya, divert power to the quantum buffers. Dr. Okafor, initiate neural synchronization." Dr. Okafor's fingers danced across his console. "Neural link established. Synchronizing now." Elena stepped onto a circular platform near the center of the bridge. As she did, interfaces rose from the floor, surrounding her in a cage of delicate sensors and neural connectors. "Are you sure about this, Captain?" Rise asked quietly. "We could deploy automatically." Elena shook her head. "The system requires human consciousness to function properly. My neural patterns are the most compatible according to the simulations." She managed a tight smile. "Besides, I owe them this personally." Before anyone could object further, she nodded to Dr. Okafor. "Activate the system." The neural connectors engage, creating a direct interface between Elena's consciousness and the Prometheus device. Instantly, her perception expanded beyond the physical confines of the ship. She could feel the Nazari vessels around them, sense the alien technology as if it were an extension of her own body. "Connection stable," Dr. Okafor reported, his voice seeming to come from far away. "Prometheus device activating." Through the neural link, Elena directed the device's quantum tendrils toward the Nazari command ship. The technology was beyond revolutionary. It operated on principles that merged human creativity with quantum mechanics in ways that even its creators didn't fully understand. What they did know was that it exploited a fundamental weakness in the Nazari approach to technology. Where human systems were designed with redundancy and adaptability, Nazari technology was built on perfect efficiency and harmony. Their ships operated as a single interconnected organism rather than discrete systems, elegant but fatally vulnerable to the right kind of disruption. "Contact established," Elena reported, her voice taking on an echoing quality as the neural interface deepened. "Beginning infiltration sequence." Through the quantum link, she could sense the Nazari systems responding to the intrusion, not with alarm, but with curiosity. Their technology didn't recognize the Prometheus signals as a threat because they operated on principles no Nazari mind had ever conceived. "I'm in their command network," Elena announced. Accessing Central Data Core. A flood of alien knowledge poured through the neural link. Sensor readings, navigational data, communication protocols. But most importantly, she found their tactical databases. "I've located their attack plans," she said grimly. They weren't just coming for Earth. This was meant to be the first stage of a systematic purge of all human settlements across 3 sectors of space. "Why?" Rise demanded. "What did we ever do to them?" The answer emerged from the data stream, shocking in its clarity. "Nothing," Elena replied. "We did nothing to them. They're eradicating us because of what we might become." Images and data translated through the neural interface revealed the Nazari perspective. Humanity's rapid technological advancement, our adaptability, our unpredictable creativity, all qualities the logical, ordered Nazari mind found chaotic and dangerous. They had observed Earth for decades, monitoring our development, and had calculated that within 3 centuries, humanity would surpass them. Their solution was simple: eliminate the threat before it could manifest. "They're scared of our potential," Dr. Okafor realized. "They're trying to prune the evolutionary tree of the galaxy, and proving our point in the process," Elena said coldly. Initiating Phase 2 of Prometheus. Through the neural link, Elena began the intricate process of subverting the Nazari command networks. The Prometheus device didn't simply attack their systems, it rewrote them, introducing human patterns of thought into alien architecture designed for perfect order. The effect was immediate and catastrophic for the Nazari. Warning signals flashed across the Nemesis bridge as the alien vessels began to react. "Energy spikes across the fleet," Rise reported. "They've detected something, but they don't know what or where. They can't comprehend what's happening," Elena explained, her consciousness still merged with the Prometheus system. "Their technology is experiencing something equivalent to an existential crisis." On the holographic display, they watched as confusion spread through the Nazari fleet. Ships began moving erratically, some firing weapons at empty space, others turning against their own kind as their targeting systems reinterpreted friend and foe. "Phase 3, Elena commanded, pushing deeper into the neural link. The Prometheus device reached its final stage, transmitting its core programming directly into the Nazari command vessel's central processor. Not a virus or traditional cyberweapon, but something far more insidious. Human creativity and adaptability weaponized and injected into systems designed for perfect order and logic. "It's working," Dr. Okafor whispered in awe. "Their entire command structure is collapsing." Through the neural link, Alina could sense the cascade of failures spreading throughout the Nazari fleet. Their networked consciousness, so dependent on perfect harmony, was experiencing the equivalent of a collective psychotic break. The central command vessel suddenly went dark, its energy signature fluctuating wildly before stabilizing at a fraction of its former output. One by one, the other ships followed, their weapons powering down, their engines falling silent. "Disengage the neural link," Alina ordered, her voice strained from the mental exertion. "Prepare to transmit the ultimatum." As the neural connectors retracted, Alina slumped slightly, supported by Reyes, who had moved to her side. "Are you all right, Captain?" She nodded, gathering her strength. "Never better. Open a channel to the Nazari command vessel." Maya worked her console. "Channel open. They can hear you." Alina straightened, facing the holographic representation of the now crippled Nazari fleet. "This is Captain Alina Chen of Earth. Your fleet has been neutralized by technology you cannot comprehend, created by the very species you sought to exterminate because of our unpredictability and creativity." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We have downloaded your tactical database. We know your plans, your capabilities, and the location of every Nazari world and outpost. We could destroy you completely, as you intended to destroy us." The view screen flickered, showing the image of a Nazari for the first time. A tall, slender being with iridescent skin and multifaceted eyes that reflected light like polished obsidian. "We miscalculated," the alien said, its voice translated by the ship's computers. "Your species evolved faster than our models predicted." "That's the point you've missed," Alina replied. "Human advancement cannot be predicted or modeled. It's why we survived on our harsh world. It's why we'll continue to survive despite threats like you." She leaned forward. "Here are our terms. The Nazari will withdraw." She leaned forward. "Here are our terms. The Nazari will withdraw from all human claim systems. You will acknowledge our right to expand and develop without interference, and you will spread word to every spacefaring species in this galaxy that Earth is not to be threatened, because when they struck Earth first, humans made sure they never struck again." The Nazari commander seemed to consider this for a long moment before responding. "Your terms are acceptable. We will withdraw. One more thing," Alina added. "The technology we used against you today has been duplicated and distributed throughout human space. If the Nazari or any allied species violates these terms, the response will be automatic and far less merciful." After the transmission ended, silence filled the bridge of the Nemesis. Finally, Maya spoke. "Did we just win?" "We did more than win." Admiral Takahashi's voice came through the communication system, having monitored the entire operation from Earth. "Captain Chen, you've just secured humanity's place among the stars. The Nazari won't be the last alien species we encounter, but your actions today ensure they'll all think twice before considering us easy prey." Alina looked around at her crew, the survivors who had carried the warning, who had made this victory possible. "Send word to Earth. Operation Prometheus was a success. The Nazari fleet is withdrawing from our space." As the alien vessels slowly turned away, their once fearsome silhouettes now seeming diminished against the backdrop of stars, Alina thought of the colonists who had died at New Horizon. Their sacrifice had not been in vain. Humanity would continue its journey among the stars, not despite the dangers they faced, but because of them. Each challenge would make them stronger, more adaptable, more creative. "Set course for Earth," she ordered. "It's time to go home." The Nemesis turned away from the retreating Nazari fleet, its unusual shape a testament to human ingenuity. Behind them, the stars seemed somehow brighter than before, a galaxy of possibilities stretching before humanity, no longer threat but promise. The Nazari had struck Earth first, believing they could extinguish the human spark before it grew too bright. Instead, they had only fanned the flames, learning what countless adversaries throughout human history had discovered. When you strike humanity, we don't just fight back. We make absolutely certain you never strike again.